Hi, Tessa. So
Good.
this is such a wonderful performance. I love a performance of basically woman on the verge, but in like a modern setting. Tell me what got you interested in this project, and then what were the decisions about making her a queer character?
Goodness, I mean, so many things got me interested in this project. I had the great pleasure of making Nia DaCosta's first film called Little Woods, and I just think she's an extraordinary filmmaker and has become an extraordinary good friend to me. And so getting to not just to work with her, but also to help her sort of see her vision through. And I think it's a big, bold, audacious vision to take this canonical work, to tear it apart, to put it back together in her image, in my image, because she wrote the piece with me in mind. Um, and then some of the fundamental changes that she made to it mean that there's also, three queer women inside of the frame, which I think is very, very rare still. And so that felt like just a gift. And then, as you said, like Woman on the Verge, I grew up watching performances of like what Gina Rowlands, has done throughout the course of her career, and these really, complicated, incredible women on screen. And it just feels like a rarefied thing to get to play one of those women as an actress. So it was an instant yes for me. And if I'm honest with you, Stacey, I still feel like I'm pinching myself that I got to do it, and that now it's in the world and people can see it.
Well, I love that it's a more modernized take on the kind of woman on the verge because it's not based necessarily on her being hysterical or,
Yeah.
being over the top. There is an intellectualism there, and there is a deep-seated longing for control, or at the very least, longing to be someone that other people don't feel like they can control. And I love that narrative, especially in today's day and age where we have a lot of people who are trying to control women. Tell me what this film says about the attempts of those people who are trying to put women into a box.
Yeah, I think it says many things because, in Ibsen's original piece, it's a portrait of a woman who's stuck inside of domesticity. She never leaves the house. Everything happens outside, and then she gets little stories about it on stage. But you see her trapped inside of the space. And in our adaptation, it's set in the not so distant past in the 50s, which we know was a really fantastic time for women. A time when we had proved that we are valuable, not just in the, at home, but in the workplace. And then we were kind of sent back home to say, we don't need you anymore post-war. Um, but I think the thing that Nia does so brilliantly is to put three women inside of the frame, to change this male character into a woman so that Hedda herself has a foil for a woman that's out in the world and doing the thing that she's too afraid to do. So in some ways, it's a portrait of a woman, yes, that is hemmed in by time and by societal expectations, but in big ways, is hemmed in by her own limiting thoughts and feelings.
Yes.
She's a woman who wants to exercise control over others and power over others because she feels personally powerless. And I think that that's something that unfortunately so many women can relate to. And certainly I've been there before where I feel like I've had a hard time stepping into my personal power because I'm up against people that don't believe in it, frankly. And so that I think at this time especially is to say that there's something totally perverse about society, about systemic things that hem women in, and also we pervert our own power and pathway to personhood when we can't fully step into our authentic selves.
Well, I love the kind of adjustments kind of made near the end that really it goes on a nice little roller coaster from being kind of like no power, you know, kind of being control over others, and then really being empowering at the end for the viewer. So I can't wait for more people to see it and to watch it over and over because there's so many little things here and there to glean from it. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
much, Tessa, for taking time to talk with me
Thanks so
today.
much. I love the cherry picks. I
Oh,
follow you guys, and anytime that something that I'm in too, it makes me so happy. So thanks so much.
hi, Nina. Oh my goodness. Your performance in this film was so fantastic. There's such this wonderful kind of frenetic energy where we see Nina really trying to keep it together, trying to be professional, trying to be friendly. And then you have Hedda there just pushing every single button. Tell me about your entry into the character of Elaine and really having her, you know, balance between the crazy and then the not so crazy.
Crazy in herself, you mean, not Hedda.
Mhm. Right, right.
Yeah, you know what? To me, what was really one of the foundations of this character and like a starting point is that she's an addict.
Mm,
And I had to understand, or I was interested in why did she become that? And why does she think she needs that vehicle to free herself? And then what does she free herself from when she's drinking, you know? So I thought the pressure on her is so immense, to just because she never felt seen as who she is, never respected as who she is as a woman, as a person, as whom she loves, and she's never really respected as a thinker, as a writer, and that is what she's truly about, and that reveals itself in the last scene when she talks to Hedda, when she's lost the manuscript and basically her life, in a way, her life's worth, because she defines herself as someone, or she wants to change the world. You know, nothing less than that. She wants to bring a voice out, and that's what for me is the manuscript, that it's something that people will probably be provoked by, but also will open doors for
right.
women, but also for men, you know, for society, just that something gets moving. And yeah, I think that was the opening. That was the door for me, the entryway into the struggle of Eileen, and the beauty. I love so much about her that she's also funny and witty, you know, and that she, when she enters this room full of men, and even though she's exposed, and even if she would have known, she would have done the same thing, you know. She just she because in these moments she has a confidence, and in others she doesn't. You know, that's the and that juxtaposition to me was something really important and fascinating to work on and work out, if you can say that. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, like the private moments with Hedda and Thea in the bedroom, and then her alter persona when she is playing Eileen, the writer and professor, you know, the academia person. So yeah, there is. Oh my God, I could not, I could continue and continue. There's so much to talk about this character. It's just a fascinating one.
Well, you know, she encapsulates this perfect storm of, you know, on one hand, she's an academic and you have to almost be very passionate and very obsessive. And of course, that leaks into other areas. But then she's kind of a woman that's out of her time, where she really is looking decades ahead, where, you know, people now don't, or people then didn't understand it, but she knew the future would. The issue is she doesn't know how to get there. And I love that your encapsulation of that. Tell me, was there anything that you wanted to make sure came through that maybe necessarily wasn't on the page?
I never have an agenda. I don't approach any of my characters or stories in a way. I'm getting always a bit suspicious if I feel someone wants me to think in a certain way or wants me to have a revelation about something. I'm just more interested if that comes through, and I can discover it myself, and I go, oh my God, that is what it's
Yeah.
about. No. So that, and I found that in Eileen, like every day I was working with her and on her. I found another little thing where I thought that is, as a whole, when you see the whole film, there is so much we can discuss and think about, is it so different from today? Is it the backlash that we find ourselves in today? You know, where does this come from? Why is there always this wave of what is this obsession on the female body having power over it, and
Mhm.
all of that? So so in that way it becomes urgent and relevant by itself, you know. It's just
Yes.
So that and if you know that, you can rely on it, and then you just go into the personal space of that character, knowing it is universal anyway.
Right. Well, you do a beautiful job of portraying her. Thank you so much, Nina, for taking a little time to talk with us today. I'm so excited for more people to see it and to rewatch it, because there's, like you're saying, there's so many little things to pick out. So it's very fun.
Thank you so much.